One of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He created from you spouses. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Yasmin Mogahed, and this is your Ramadan reminder for today. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة. He says, and from among His signs is this. So to begin with, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes clear that this is one of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then He goes on to say that He created, that one of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He created from you spouses, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, in order for you to find sukoon with them. Now the word sukoon is often translated as tranquility, but it literally means to settle, to be settled both externally but also internally. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us this. It doesn't mean that every relationship will be this way, as we know nothing is perfect in this life. But what it does do is it gives us a standard. It gives us the way it ought to be, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed it to be. So it gives us some sort of standard to work off of if we find that, in fact, for example, our relationship is the opposite. Instead of bringing us sukoon, it's doing the opposite. It's bringing us fear and trauma or any kind of excessive amount of stress. Then we know that there's something wrong, and we know that there's some sort of change that needs to happen in order to rectify that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a standard. So He says, in order to find tranquility, to be settled internally and externally, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. And then He placed between you love and mercy. Now, when you look at this, mawadda is love and rahma is mercy. You see that these are the two parts that complete that relationship. The mawadda, the love, is what waters that relationship. And the rahma, the mercy, is what really sustains that relationship. It's what holds you together even in those moments that are difficult, and maybe you don't necessarily you're not feeling that love in that moment, but you continue to have that rahma, and that helps to sustain that relationship. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this is signs for those who reflect, those people who have insight. So what we understand from this is that this is one of the signs that bring us back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That even within the relationship between husband and wife, between the spouses, is a pointer back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's something that reminds us of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's something that's meant to bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that this is something that only those who reflect and those of insight can understand. And so you see here that we are in fact one. And that this is one of those powerful and one of the many powerful signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.